Good evening, everyone. Welcome again to Springfield Indians Hockey. Tonight, the Indians take on the Sherbrooke Canadiens. As usual, our Coach's Corner show and Indians coach Lauren Henning as the Indians prepare to take on the Northern Division Canadiens. First of all, Coach, the Indians coming off a game on Wednesday night against the New Haven Nighthawks. Kind of a tough loss, but trying to rebound tonight against Sherbrooke.
Well, it was a tough loss, Mike. We didn't play great, but Marty Mulliken played an outstanding game for us. And they had a lot of shots, but they had a lot of shots from far out. We played pretty well defensively, except for a couple of breakdowns. But we've got a few more goals than we have been getting. The fourth goal Glenn Hicks scored was a big goal for us. They came up, scored a goal late in the third period. Usually that's devastating, but we came right back 6 seconds later and scored a goal. So I thought it would be a key goal for us. But we had a little breakdown. Brian Lawton just missed a goal, but 4 seconds before they scored, and they came right back and scored on us. So anytime you lose in overtime, it's heartbreaking. But when you lose with 12 seconds to go to a team that's behind you, I mean, it's doubly heartbreaking.
However, for the Indians' good side of things, the Indians came up with a couple of victories last week over the Moncton Golden and Flames and at least put some distance between yourself and New Haven. Had the Indians lost a couple last week and New Haven had come up with a couple of wins, that game on Wednesday night would have even been more of a crushing blow had the Nighthawks gained a victory if the teams were closer.
Well, we've been struggling a little offensively, so we haven't really been getting the chances that we were getting before, and we've been playing a lot better defensively and tightening up. But it's tough to play that type of hockey game in and game out. That's playoff hockey, that's pressure hockey, which is good to get some momentum going and get some consistency going down the stretch. But we got to start scoring some more goals and putting something together offensively. Hopefully we're going to get a couple more players before we go down the stretch, and offensive players, and if we do, we'll be sitting pretty good. But we got to start. The players that are here are capable of doing it, and we got to start putting some pucks in the net.
You was speaking earlier about Lauren Mulliken. Boy, he's played some fantastic goal for you the last week or so, hasn't he?
Well, he has. The first part of the year was tough for him. Sandsy was hot, and the team wasn't playing great when he was into the first part of the year, so he struggled a bit with the team, and Sandsy came in and played outstanding, and he never really got a rhythm going because Sandsy was playing more of the games. Now he's come up and he's played outstanding. The last 7-8 games, he lost about 4 games a couple weeks ago, but he played great. He played 40-some shots in all of the games, and he played outstanding. We just couldn't get a break, and we weren't scoring offensively. We weren't getting anything going offensively, so it was kind of a tight check-in game, and he was holding us in there. But the last month, he's played a terrific goal for us.
Coach, this week, no different than every other week with the Springfield Indians Hockey Club. More changes, call-ups and call-downs. Fill the fans maybe in a little bit about the changes this week.
Well, Glenn Hicks signed. We signed him from Europe, and Mark Hamill went up and came back. So basically, it's been a quiet week. Only 2 guys. And normally, we've got a few more. Happened last weekend. We've got a few guys from Indianapolis. So hopefully, we're going to get somebody from Minnesota's got a few more players that are healthy. So they should be loosening up with 1 or 2 players. And Dale Henry's up on the island. A few guys are hurt, so he'll probably be coming back. So we should be getting at least 2 players back anyway.
Coach, this coming Tuesday is the clear day roster freeze where the Indians have to name a roster of 22 players. Do you expect any big changes with the Indians? Do you expect any have any surprises, or do you think things will stay pretty much the same?
Well, I think it'll basically stay the same. What's happening now, like I said before, we might get 2 or 3 more players. Lou Nanny, Bill Torrey, and myself got to sit down on Monday or through a conference call or whatever, and we've got to find out. We've got a few juniors. You're allowed to put 3 juniors on and find out where they're going to finish, and so we might add a couple of juniors and 1 college player who's an outstanding player. So hopefully we can come out of this sitting pretty good, and maybe we get a couple of players even before the season's out, which the college will be over. 1 player they're looking at, Archibald, who might end up in Minnesota, so that's one thing we have to find out tomorrow or Monday. And if he comes here, he's an outstanding player, and he'll be a great addition to our team.
So with this roster situation, you can add a couple more players without really hurting yourself if they're from the junior or from the college ranks.
Well, we're allowed 3 players, so we can fill in that way, and it's we're allowed 22 altogether. So we have there's a couple decisions we have to make. We have to find out who's staying up, who's not. With Minnesota, they've got a couple of players they have to make a decision on if they're going to keep them up there or if they're on emergency recall. We're allowed to put them on our list, so it's going to be interesting. A couple. Depends what happens with Koulis. It's a big decision if he's going to stay up there, and then we won't put him on our list. If he's a possibility he may be coming back, we put him on our list. So it's kind of a chancy thing, even with the juniors. You're anticipating somebody losing early. If they don't lose, then you put somebody on your list and you lose your one spot on your roster. So it has to be a lot of thought put into it.
Well, Coach, I'm sure you and the Islanders and the North Stars will come up with something good. Coach, good luck tonight against the Sherbrooke Canadiens, and let's see if the Indians can put some room between yourself and the New Haven Nighthawks.
Well, thanks, Mike. Hope so, too.
It's Coach Lorne Henning of the Springfield Indians. Stay tuned for Springfield Indians hockey tonight, the Indians against the Sherbrooke Canadiens.
Exerskate just for the health of it at the Springfield Olympia Ice and Roller Sports Center, your year-round sports facility. You can enjoy ice and roller skating as well as indoor soccer and floor hockey. The Springfield Olympia Ice and Roller Center has a full skate and pro shop, so you'll find what you're looking for. From amateurs to experts and anyone in between, a complete snack bar will satisfy that athletic appetite. For birthday parties, club get-togethers, or special occasions, renting a rink is the fun way to throw a party. And it's as easy as the Springfield Olympia Sports Center, conveniently located at exit 13 off I-91.
Continental Cablevision presents the Springfield Indians against the Sherbrooke Canadiens. Good evening, everyone. Mike Barrick along with John Forslund from the Springfield Civic Center, where tonight the Springfield Indians will try and rebound from a Wednesday night 5-4 overtime decision against the New Haven Nighthawks. The Indians currently leading the Nighthawks in the race for the 3rd, 4th, and 5th spots in the American Hockey League Southern Division and take on the Sherbrooke Canadiens tonight. John, a lot of things happening with the Springfield Indians. It's Air Force Night tonight, the Springfield Civic Center, and we have a new audience, an increased audience for our Springfield Indians hockey games.
Well, Mike, tonight an expanded audience, and we'd like to welcome all our new viewers to Springfield Indians hockey. Just in time for the stretch run and the playoff drive. It's underway, and tonight, Mike, the Sherbrooke Canadiens, what a great way for some of our new viewers to get indoctrinated to Springfield Indians hockey.
That's right. The Canadiens in their big fight for the Northern Division playoffs are currently battling with Nova Scotia, Fredericton, and Moncton for the 4th and final playoff spot. And it was just a couple of weeks back that these two teams got together and had an old-fashioned brawl here at the Springfield Civic Center.
Well, the Canadiens have bested the Indians on 3 out of 4 occasions, but you're absolutely right, Mike. A couple of games back here and a game seen right here in Continental Cablevision, a bench-clearing brawl after the first period. You never know if those grudges are going to carry over, but one thing's for certain, the Sherbrooke Canadiens are a fast-skating club with a lot of talent, like to play the body. The Indians are no slouches either, so they'll be ready and equal to the task here tonight.
The Canadiens will have their big line intact tonight of Claude LaRose, Murray Eves, and Serge Boisvert, but the Indians will also have to watch out for a man that plays defense for the Sherbrooke Canadiens, a guy that's been up in the NHL with Montreal, a fine defenseman, Rick Mattress.
Rick Mattress right here could be one of the top defensemen in the American Hockey League this season. 6'2", 208 pounds, an 8th-round pick for the Montreal Canadiens back in 1981. He joined a great year with 38 points and has 5 assists for 5 points against the Indians, the 4 games played between the two clubs this year. Rick Mattress has had some off-ice problems in his career, Mike. They're behind him right now, and he's having a super year on the back line for Sherbrooke.
That's correct, and he'll be a big force tonight on the blue line for the Sherbrooke Canadiens. The Indians, however, have a player that played his first game as a member of the Tribe on Wednesday night against New Haven, picked up a goal and 2 assists. What a way to start your career with one particular team.
Well, there's been a lot of European players coming to the American Hockey League recently, and this man right here was signed by the New York Islanders this week, Glenn Hicks, a former 3rd-round draft pick for the Detroit Red Wings back in 1981. Hicks, Mike, had a great debut Wednesday night in New Haven. As you mentioned, 1 goal, 2 assists, but that 1 goal was a tying goal which sent the game in overtime with just a minute to go in the hockey game. Too bad for the Indians that they did eventually lose it in overtime, but Glenn Hicks was a force in his first game.
Well, the Sherbrooke Canadiens have made their appearance on the ice as Glenn Hicks and the Springfield Indians will be making their appearance in just a moment. As you take a look at the ice surface here at the Springfield Civic Center. John, the Indians tonight expect to be going with a different goaltender this evening, Mike Sands. It's been the Lorne Mollican show recently, however.
Well, last week, Lorne Mollican was elected the American Hockey League's Player of the Week, thanks to a couple of great outings last weekend against the Moncton Golden Flames, 2-1, and picking up his first shutout of the year on Saturday night, 2-0. And then, Mike, against New Haven on Wednesday night. 51 shots on goal. Lauren Mollican, if it wasn't for him, there could have been a lot more goals scored in that game, and it wouldn't have been as close. Lauren Mollican has been hot, but Mike Sands gets the nod tonight for Springfield.
He'll be opposed this evening by, as you see, the Indians making their appearance on the ice. Greg Moffat will be the starting netminder for the Sherbrooke Canadiens as you see the Indians take the ice here at the Springfield Civic Center. And the Indians, of course, involved in the race in the Southern Division. Currently, the Indians lead the New Haven Nighthawks by 8 points. The Indians have a couple of games at hand. And also, John, fighting the Baltimore Skipjacks for third place in the Southern Division as well.
Well, the Indians in a tough position right now. Not only battling the Baltimore Skipjacks for the third spot, trailing them by 4, but they also have to look over their shoulder at the New Haven Nighthawks. They really could have put the Nighthawks away last Wednesday in New Haven, a chance to do it. The Indians came out on the downside, did not get a chance to get that 12-point bulge. Instead, it's 8 points where we stand right now as this game is broadcast on Saturday night. So the Indians looking ahead at Baltimore, but also over their shoulder at the New Haven Nighthawks.
Of course, the big story in that is the Indians have a couple of games at hand on New Haven. And if the Indians can win those games at hand, that will also increase the position between the Indians and the 5th place Nighthawks. Both teams have made their appearance on the ice, and we're just about ready for Springfield Indians hockey on Air Force Night here at the Center.
That's right, it's Air Force Night here at the Springfield Civic Center, and during the national anthem, the colors will be presented by the United States Air Force Color Guard here at the Springfield Civic Center. And of course, we'll hear the Canadian national anthem first before we get into that American national anthem.
Now let's pause for the activities on the ice here at the Center.
The staff sergeants to be flags and their full crowd. The Hope Recruiting Office is Staff Sergeant Everett Rolfe and Paul Cirillo. Oh,
traditional John Forslund pat on the back, and welcome to Springfield Indians hockey on Continental Cablevision. Tonight the Indians taking on the Sherbrooke Canadiens. The starting lineup tonight for the Canadiens: in the nets, Greg Moffat. And Moffat on the season this year has a mark of 16, 15, and 2, 4.04 goals against average. On defense for the Canadiens to start out here this evening will be Michel Therrien and Rick Natras. The forward line, Brian Skrudland, Thomas Rundquist, and Jeff Teal. For the Springfield Indians, starting in the nets will be Mike Sands. There you see him on your screen. 38 games, 21, 13, and 3, 3.09 goals against average. On defense for the Indians, Chris Pryor and Glenn Johannesson, Glenn Hicks, Scott Howson, and Monty Trottier, the forward line, and we're underway immediately. It's icing is called, and face-off will come all the way back into the Canadian zone. The Indians come into the action 32 victories, 29 defeats, and 4 ties, 68 points in the position of 4th place in the American Hockey League Southern Division. The Canadians 29, 33, and 4, 62 points, and they are also in a battle. They're 4th place in the Northern Division. The referee this evening, by the way, it's Ron Schick. The linesman Bill Daubman and Bill Morrissey. The Indians 3-6 this year in games that Schick has been the referee. Face-off coming up in the Canadian zone. And we'll have the face-off momentarily here in this scoreless game. We've just played 10 seconds into the opening frame. They drop the puck, the loose puck taken by Sherbrooke, and the Canadians, Rick Natras on the boards, able to clear one out to the center ice area. Here are the Indians going back after it, and Chris Pryor in his own zone. Here's Pryor, lead pass on the left wing side for big Glenn Johannesson. Up ahead for Brian Lawton, across the line for Trimper, shooting, and deflected up high over the glass and into the crowd. This game started off a bit slowly, the Indians having a little bit of the early play.
Well, it's the last meeting of the year between the two clubs here at the Civic Center. The Indians will take on Sherbrooke on April the 7th. That game will be up at Sherbrooke at the Ice Sports Palace in Sherbrooke, Quebec, and that game will be the final game of the regular season for the Springfield Indians. Looking towards the playoffs, they're really looming in the near future. Mike, we're headed down the stretch drive.
Face off in the Sherbrooke zone. Hope you're enjoying the action so far in this scoreless game. Face off coming up in the Sherbrooke zone. Planned away, and the Canadians back after it. And in his own zone and taking over is Ted Faust. Clears up ahead for Claude LaRose. Right wing pass into the neutral zone. Here's LaRose into the Springfield zone. Feeds one for Boisvert, just sent down by the parent Montreal Canadiens. And back after it is Ken Leiter. He winds it on the near side, and the Indians lead pass on left wing going all the way into the Sherbrooke zone. Moffat handles it and clears it on the far boards for Boisvert. Here is Boisvert leaving it for zone defense, and the Indians intercept. Markle, near side pass for Tate. Tate circling to make a play, spun around, gives for Markle, then it ends up going outside the line and out to center ice. Big jam up in the neutral zone. The former Indian LaRose and the Indians Vern Smith battle for it, and the Canadians have to go back. In his own zone is Ted Faust. Lead pass on the right wing side, out the center for Boisvert. Up the middle on left wing for Claude LaRose. He tries to sidestep a check, then it's slashed in there by Eves, but Howson's able to clear to center. Now, as plays in the neutral zone, here's Trottier moving in. Trottier shooting, and it's deflected high and wide. Back after it, Trottier steps into a Canadian player. Indians try and center one for Hicks, but the loose puck taken by Sherbrooke, and they clear to center. Here are the Indians. Jensen dropping it back for Paddock, who's able to clear one into the Sherbrooke zone, and the Indians in after it. Here's a quick shot wide by the Indians player on the far side. Now Paddock cuts in. Paddock is met there in front of the net by the Canadians player, Steve Fletcher, and Sherbrooke able to dump one into the Springfield zone.
Well, a little physical play on the onset there by Fletcher with a stiff body check. We'll have to see if that play carries over into tonight's action.
Here is Trottier, lead pass all the way into the Canadians end of the rink, and Lawler back to take over. Hands it right to Howson, who takes over in the neutral zone. Howson just scoops one all the way back into the Canadian end of the rink. Indians change lines, and the line of Hamway with Bodak and Handy out for Springfield. As the play is cleared all the way into the Springfield end of the rink, Pryor back after it. They ruled no icing as Sherbrooke or the Indians could have played the puck. Now Hamway, lead pass to Handy at center. Across the line, shooting, and Moffat the save. Big rebound, and cleared on left wing. And here comes the Canadiens' speedy youngster Runquist. Across the line, feeds it through, and Scrudelin's shot goes wide of the net. Teal in after it. The Indians' number 27, Bob Bodak, able to dump one to center right onto the stick of Hamway. Ends up hopping over his stick. The Canadiens are able to clear one out into the neutral zone. Now Bodak into the Sherbrooke end of the rink. Stops to make a play. Centers one through and just deflected wide by Handy. And Teal recovers for Sherbrooke. Lead pass on left wing too far ahead. And Pryor is able to take control in his own zone. Lead pass for Hamway at center. Scoops one into the Sherbrooke end of the rink. And Moffat out of Maine is able to clear one on left wing and all the way into the neutral zone. Vern Smith taking back over in his own zone and clears on the near boards. Big jam up and the puck comes free. Trimper sidesteps by Elaine Haru. Feeds one on right wing for Kerr in the clear. Shooting, but he partially fans on it, and it's handled easily by Moffat. Here's Vern Smith wristing one, but blocked off by the captain of the Canadiens, and a lead pass on left wing. Quick shot wide by the player Newberry cutting in, and then it's cleared up over the glass and into the crowd. And Newberry, who's had points in 7 of his last 8 games, was sent in on left wing.
He's been a hot player for the Sherbrooke Canadiens. We have 16:05 remaining here in the first period. No score if you're just joining us, and if you are just joining us, some new viewers on expanded coverage of Springfield Indians hockey. I'd like to welcome all the fans in the Agawam, West Springfield, South Hadley, Southwick, Northampton, of course, Enfield, Chicopee, and Springfield, but to go along with that, Holyoke, Longmeadow, and countless others all tuning in all over Western Massachusetts with the new expanded coverage here on Continental Cablevision.
Well, that means more people can see us, and we just laugh at that, huh?
That's exactly right. That was
Here's
something
play.
to laugh at.
Play cleared into the Canadiens end of the rink. Faust back after it. Big jam up over there, and the Canadiens are able to take control, and Brian Scrudelin unable to get it out. Indians hold it in. Quick shot right on Moffat, the stop on Kerr. Now it's centered from Lawton, but right onto the stick of Scrudelin, who's able to clear one on left wing, and Runquist dropping it back for zone defense. We're scoreless here in this first period as Teal on left wing for Scrudelin in the clear. Shoots off the side of the net. Now it's centered, but Sands clears it away. Now a shot from the point by Scrudelin, and a stick save Sands. Faust at the point. His shot goes wide. And finally Kerr for the Tribe, able to leave it for zone defense, and Springfield are able to clear to center. Then it's shot right back into the Springfield zone, and the Tribe have to go back. We've played 5 minutes into this first period. No score as the Canadiens dump one back into the Springfield zone, but it's ruled offside at the Indians' blue line.
The Indians have no players on the injured list at the present time. They have one player up on emergency recall with the parent New York Islanders, and he is left winger Dale Henry. As you take a look at Indians goaltender Mike Sands, who was experiencing some problems in the goal before being sent up to the Minnesota North Stars, and then he played 1 game with the North Stars against Detroit in the NHL and returned at the beginning of this week. But Lauren Mollican picked up the slack, and now Mike Sands seeing some time here tonight against Sherbrooke.
His last start, by the way, February 23rd in a 2-2 tie with Rochester, and hasn't played since then. It's been all Lauren Mollican. Now it's cleared in by the Indians offside at the Canadiens line. This year, Sands against the Canadiens hasn't beaten Sherbrooke. He's lost both games, losing 2-1 and 5-2.
Well, Mike, all the games for the Sherbrooke Canadiens this year have been exciting games, whether they be up in Sherbrooke or here in Springfield. But one thing about Sherbrooke, the Indians are going to have to look out for is the way they can skate. The Sherbrooke club can really fly, and if they get a chance to freewheel, they can do some tricky things with the puck and really put the puck in the net. So the Indians are going to have to tighten up and keep close tabs on those fast-paced Sherbrooke skaters.
Here are the Indians. Tate centers in front for Marco, but cleared away by Fletcher, and deep into the Springfield zone where Dave Jensen has to hustle back after it. Here is Jensen dropping it back for zone defense as the Indians are able to break out of their own zone. Here's Jensen up ahead for Marco, but tied up there in the neutral zone, and the Indians' Tate picks up the loose puck. Winding up, shoots, and it's handled by Moffat, deflected off a Sherbrooke player, and then he scoops up the puck. Moffat, by the way, a 25-year-old goaltender, and he's beaten the Tribe 2 times this year, going 2-0.
Well, don't forget Tribe Trivia coming up, and for your new viewers, it's a feature we run here on Springfield Indians Hockey between During the first period, we flash a trivia question on the screen and provide the answer in the third period. But in between, during the second period, we give a little clue to try and help the fans along.
Help me too, right?
Well, you need all the help you can get, and every week you come up with certain answers. It's usually the same answer, but I don't know how you're going to fare out on tonight's question. Really researched and thought out.
I bet you it was.
Good luck to you.
I bet you it was. Now it's cleared on the near side, and Tariant up ahead on left wing, and here come the Pooley brothers on the ice, clearing one in across the line, also offside. We have Perry and Paul Pooley, and also Remy Gagne on the line. It was Tom Martin, a big left winger, but he's been called up to the parent Montreal Canadiens, and now they have a newcomer on the line, Remy Gagne.
Well, the Pooley brothers, both rookies out of Ohio State, Mike, hard workers. Just could be termed as a checking line for the Sherbrooke Canadiens with Perry and Paul Pooley. Paul Pooley was the Player of the Year in the Central Collegiate Hockey Association with Ohio State last year. Also was picked as a second-team All-American and was runner-up to Tom Curvers in the running for the Hobey Baker Trophy.
Actually, Martin was sent up by the Winnipeg Jets, the other parent team of this Sherbrooke Canadian Hockey Club. Now it's jammed up on the near side. Trache unable to get out. Tarian closing in. Feeds back behind the net. The loose puck taken. It's centered in front for Perry Pooley, but cleared away. And then Sands is able to pounce on top of it and make the stop with Perry Pooley closing right in. 13:41 left first period. No score.
Well, hopefully we'll get a peek at that trivia question momentarily here on Continental Cablevision Springfield Indians Hockey. Our producer-director, Mark Reinhardt, scurrying in the truck and trying to get that question out momentarily. Tonight's question has to do with coaching. I won't go into it anymore, but it has to do with coaching, and we'll be seeing it momentarily on our screen right here on Continental Cable.
And you got those from the famous archives, am I correct?
That's right. For the fans who are new to us, the archives are the location in the Springfield Indians office where I get all the information for the trivia questions. I go down the dark hallway that leads to the archives and get my dust brush out and wipe away all the dust, and somehow go through the scrolls and come up with a question or two.
John scurries all afternoon going through the books for the questions. Here is Faust shooting one wide right from the point, but the Indians take over. And Alan Kerr speeds on right wing. Tries to break through by Gaston Gingras, and the goaltender Moffat able to pounce on top of it and make the stop. The Canadiens coming off a victory in New Haven, which helped out the Indians on Friday night.
That's right. The Indians need all the help they can get, and they got it on Friday night with the New Haven Nighthawks were upended by these same Sherbrooke Canadiens. As tonight's game is broadcast, New Haven battles the Hershey Bears, and the Hershey Bears in the Southern Division, Mike, are going to be a club that's going to have a lot to say about the fortunes of the Springfield Indians. Not only do they have some games left with New Haven, but also they play Baltimore 6 times between now and the end of the year, so the Hershey Bears could be spoilers in the Southern Division.
Face off in the circle to the left of the goaltender Greg Moffat. Moffat, 4 years with the University of New Hampshire of the Eastern Collegiate Athletic Conference, and also a 3-year pro with the Nova Scotia Voyageurs before they Montreal changed affiliations and moved into Sherbrooke. Now here's Newberry trying to break through the Indians' defense, but it's tipped away. Now the Canadiens try and center one, but the Indians break the center ice. Trache leads a 3-man rush in. His shot off the backboard's handled by Moffat. Clears one, but not out. Handy holds it in. Handy spun around by Teal, who leads it on right wing for Newberry. Newberry with Haru on his left. Newberry centers for Haru, but Aaron Smith is right there to tie him up. And now Bob Bodak takes control for the try behind his own net. We're scoreless here in this first period. We've played over 7 minutes into the opening frame as Bodak moving in, but the shot is blocked on at the Sherbrooke defense, and on right wing the Canadiens. Jordy Douglas, the ex-Indian, whipping one through, but it goes right through the goal crease. Then it's jammed up and cleared by Fletcher behind the net, but Dave Jensen is right there. Big jam up behind the goal. Canadiens try and center one, but the Indians are able to take control, and up the center ice comes Handy. Handy, long slap shot, right on, but Moffat handles it easily and gives it for Fletcher. Here are the Canadiens in across the line, but the whole play is whistled down offside.
Well, we have 12:14 remaining here in period number 1, and I believe my trivia question is ready, and there it is. How about that? There are 2 coaches that are currently coaching in the National Hockey League that formerly coached the Springfield Indians. Can you name them?
I can't go with my usual Bill Sweeney answer because he was never a coach, am I correct?
That's exactly why I went for this question, because for weeks on end you were naming Bill Sweeney. Every question that came up, Bill Sweeney, who was a great in Springfield Indians hockey past, for those fans who do not know, a top scorer in the early 60s on some teams that won 3 consecutive Calder Cups, but no, it is not Bill Sweeney, so you're going to have to think and put on your thinking cap, and I don't know if that's possible, but we'll have to see.
Face-off just outside the blue line after those nice comments. We go right to Gord Paddock. Here is Paddock in the center ice area, sliding one for Hamway, across the line for Tate, but cleared away by the Canadiens and deep into the Springfield zone. Back after it, behind his own net, is Dave Jensen for the Tribe. Here is Jensen on left wing for Markle, up ahead on right wing, but the loose puck taken by the Canadiens, and Boisvert takes over. Lead pass on right wing for Murray Eves, or rather the player on the far side, but it's cleared in over the glass and into the crowd. That was Natras, the shot deflected over the glass into the crowd.
Well, Serge Boisvert just coming down to the Sherbrooke Canadiens, number 10 on right wing for Sherbrooke here tonight. Coming down from the Montreal Canadiens, where he has been for the past month, should help Sherbrooke out as far as goal-scoring punch. And Mike, I think that's one area where the Indians have been lacking of late, is getting that real good goal-scoring punch. And I look for guys like Brian Lawton, Terry Tate to start breaking out of it and putting the puck in the net. Really what the Indians need. They've been playing some tight games but low-scoring affairs of late.
It's off, as you can see, right top of the circle. The Indians are facing a big line here of LaRose, Eves, and Boisvert. It's been quite some time since these three have played together, since the call-ups and injuries in the Canadiens lineup. Here it's played on the near side, but Springfield take control, and Hamway able to work on right wing. Shoots one to the Canadian line, but the Indians Tate tries to take over, but the Canadians come to center. Here's Eves into the Springfield zone, dropping one through, but it's blocked off. Now the Canadians take over. LaRose back behind the goal. Here's Claude LaRose trying to clear one through, but Tate breaks it up. Held in by Natras, shooting, and that goes wide of the net. Now LaRose back behind the net for the Canadiens player Boisvert. Back to the right point for Natras, shoots right on, and the stop by Sands. Now Therrien closing in. Therrien pinches back behind the net. Centers in front. Boisvert the loose puck in front of the goal again, but the Indians' Hamway is there and comes to center. Hamway trying to duck by Natras, who steers him along the near boards, and then Therrien covers up for the Canadiens. Very close checking, scoreless game here with 10:48 left first period. As the Canadiens, Natras, a long slap shot handled by the Indians goaltender Sands. Here's Big Johannesson clearing one all the way into the Sherbrooke end of the rink. Natras back after it, and as he touches it, icing is called.
10:33 remaining here in the first period. No score between the Springfield Indians and the Sherbrooke Canadiens. Mike, the Indians have been getting some good play from some couple of rookies on the back line on defense. Glenn Johannesson and Gord Paddock both have been sent down, recalled rather, from Indianapolis of the International League just 2 weeks ago, and both have made some strong contribution, which is why they're still on the defensive troops of Lauren Henning at this time. Both Johannesson and Paddock, who were with the club earlier in the year during training camp, were then let go and spent the entire year with Indianapolis, have come to Springfield, and Johannesson mixed it up in New Haven on Wednesday night as far as the fisticuffs are concerned. Paddock has shown well, so both of them youngsters on the upstart.
Face off in the Springfield zone. This is a big week coming up for the Indians with the Clear Day roster situation.
That's right, March 12th is the final day for the Clear Day in which rosters will be frozen in the American Hockey League. So it is, Mike, there could be some changes made in the Indians roster.
Face off coming up in the Indian zone with 10:33 left first period. No score here. From the face off, the Indians take over. And here is Trimper, the Indians captain. Lead pass for Kerr, but Kerr is skated off and then has to leave it back for Lawton, who gives for Chris Pryor. Pryor, who saw action recently up with the parent Minnesota North Stars. Clears to the Canadian line where Fletcher shoots to center. Here the Indians Trimper on left wing for Lawton. Lawton centers for Kerr, but it ends up going past Kerr's stick. Now Lawton centers in front. They just missed wide Kerr. Now it's centered, and Teal is right there and clears it away. Great scoring chance for the Indians, Kerr, but he shot it wide. Now it's back behind the net. Pryor back after it. Lead pass on left wing, and the Indians take control. Here's Lawton at center. Lawton in across the line, pulled down, and a penalty coming up against the Canadiens. And a water bottle as well is thrown out onto the ice right there in the Canadian zone. I'm not sure if that was accidental or not, but we're going to have a penalty no matter what against Skrudland.
I think that bottle was inadvertently knocked out of the hands of one of the Sherbrooke players along the bench. Let's see a replay on this right here. As you see Brian Lawton, the Indian center, streaking through the neutral zone, hauled down from behind by number 20, Brian Skrudland. and he picks up the initial penalty right there. And now we're going to have another penalty called on Scrudlin.
John, I believe it's an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty against the Canadiens bench for that throwing the water bottle out there. And I think the Canadiens are saying exactly what you had, that it was unintentional, but Ron Schick saw it out there, and that might be the call, but we'll have to wait and see.
We'll have to wait and see. They haven't posted it on the scoreboard. You're looking at Brian Scrudlin, youngster in the Montreal system right there. 9:48 remaining in the first period. The Indians get the first power play chance, and what a chance they had as Brian Lawton, Alan Kerr, and Tim Trimper were clicking in the Sherbrooke zone. Kerr had a beautiful chance to pick up the Indians' first goals. He accepted a nice pass from Lawton, who was stationed behind the net. And the Indians, Mike, just haven't been getting that finishing touch on their plays in the opponent's zone, and that's been the problem as far as getting that goal-scoring punch. But now, going on the power plays, you take a look at that stat, 55 for 252, 21.8%, and that's a big improvement over what it has been. The Indians could get the extra jump here on Sherbrooke, get the early lead on the power play.
Well, Steve Fletcher will serve the penalty, and Fletcher, of course, well known here at the Springfield Civic Center for his antics in a bench-clearing brawl a couple of games back between these two clubs. Face-off will be in the Canadian zone. Indians this year 3 for 12, 25% on the power play against the Canadiens this year, and we'll see how they do this time. The Indians have the two-man advantage with Scrudlin off and the bench minor, and Fletcher serving that with the Indians having the two-man advantage. Here is Vern Smith clearing into the Canadiens' end of the ring. Howson back after it, leaves it through. Handy tries to center one, leaves it back for Howson. Howson for the Tribe on this two-man advantage, drops it back for Leiter. Leiter to Howson, closing in. Howson loses control of the puck, and the Canadiens' Newberry comes to center. Here's Newberry just kind of dipsy-doodling into the Springfield zone, but Handy is right there. And with a couple of Canadians back, Handy on right wing for Vern Smith, but tipped away. And the Tribe have to go back. Here's Handy for the Indians, working in. Handy surveys the traffic, feeds for Hamway, shoots, scores! Mark Hamway darting on the right side, and with 8:56 left first period, the Tribe lead 1-0.
Well, you talk about threading the needle. Watch Ronnie Handy set up Mark Hamway for this first goal of the hockey game. Here's Handy with the puck. A cross-ice pass that Mark Hamway just directs into the goal to give the Indians the early 1-0 lead on the power play. And now we have some hot tempers on the ice as you take a look at the situation. And now Ron Schick's going to make a couple of calls here. We'll have to wait and see exactly what. Nonetheless, it is the 21st goal of the year for Mark Hamway, his 7th on the power play to give the Indians the early 1-0 lead.
There's all kinds of confusion on the ice as well, and I believe the Canadiens are going to be assessed another penalty. I saw a broken stick out onto the ice as well, and they might have had some tempers there, so maybe another bench penalty called against the Canadiens.
Well, that's the way it looks right here. 1:08 remaining on the bench minor. And now Newberry was the player that went in the penalty box for Sherbrooke. So the Indians with some more chances right here. And it's great to see the Indians get on top early and especially score on the power play. A lot of the fans quick to jump on them early in that power play as they look tentative passing the puck around. Well, they're not really tentative. They're just looking for the open shot under Lauren Henning's system. But then with Handy's beautiful pass to Hamway, setting up the goal, this could be the start of some great things to come for the Springfield Indians.
Here is play now with the Indians having another two-man advantage. Here the Tribe. Trimper moving in. Trimper stops to make a play. Centers in front, and it's dropped back to the point. Leiter for the Indians. Leiter tries to center one, but it's deflected back behind the goal. Here is Kerr, and Natras fight for it. Kerr runs into Natras, who ends up falling on top of the puck and holding on. Pierre Creamer, the coach of the Sherbrooke Canadiens, looking on behind the bench. Got to be a little bit concerned at this point, but the Indians have this two-man advantage here. Another 45 seconds left in the original bench minor, and then another 1:37 left in Newberry's penalty for the Canadiens. 8:32 left first period. It's 1-0 in favor of the Indians. We have that scoring play for you. Hamway is 21st from Handy and Howson at 11:04, and that penalty, a cross-checking penalty against Newberry, a minor, and as a result, the Indians have this second two-man advantage. Face-off controlled, Indians take over. Here is Howson, leads for Jensen. Jensen for the Indians, turns, spins, gives it for the Indians. Hicks centers one, but it ends up going right through the goal crease. Here is Lawton for the Tribe. Centers one in front, Howson winds up, shoots, and he blasts it high and wide. Here the Tribe again. Back to the point, Jensen holding on. Jensen for Housen, shoots, and he missed the net. Now Lawton for the Tribe. Wrist shot right on, stop, rebound, and cleared wide with the Indians Tripper right in front, and then Natras has it for the Canadiens and able to clear all the way down. Housen, who's practiced that shot of taking the pass and blasting it without stopping it, missed the net but had a good scoring opportunity. Now the Indians come to center. Here is Lawton, leaves for Tripper. Tripper runs into the Canadian player, Gaston Gingras, but the Canadians take control and clear it all the way down. The bench minor and Fletcher is back on. The Indians only have this one-man power play at this point for another 39 seconds as Hicks on left wing for Housen. Housen into the Canadians' end of the rink. Dropping it through for Handy. Handy drops it back for Hicks, shoots, and it's blocked and cleared wide. Here's Vern Smith, tries to center one. A loose puck taken by Housen. Housen dropping it back for Vern Smith, shooting, and the stop by Moffat. It trickles underneath him, but he's able to pounce on top of it with some traffic in front.
Well, great save by the Sherbrooke goaltender Moffat as the shot was taken by Smith and then deflected on the way through. Came up on Moffat and he juggled the puck momentarily but then smothered it. We have 7:12 remaining here in the first period. You're looking at Indians coach Lauren Henning, and he's got to be happy the way the power play looks so far in this game. The Indians getting some good scoring chances, picking up a goal by Hamway. But Mike, the power play is such an important facet of the game, especially heading down the stretch towards the playoffs. When you get those opportunities in a hockey game, you have to take advantage of them. Let's see that shot again taken from ice level right here. Scott Housen dishes off to Vern Smith, and then his blast deflected on the way through. Moffat with the save. Still 17 seconds remaining on the Newberry penalty, so some time for the Indians in the Sherbrooke zone.
The face-off controlled and the Canadians take over. They're able to clear one all the way down, and the Indians have to go back. That's just about going to do it on this power play for the Indians, with the Tribe leading 1-0. Back after it for the Indians in his own zone is Vern Smith on right wing for Hamway. 2 seconds left. Newberry is back on, and the Canadians have keeled it off. Here is Markle back behind the net for the Tribe, trying to give one free for Hamway. Hamway the loose puck. He tries to slide it in front. Now Markle dropping it back, but right onto the stick of a Canadian player in Newberry, able to clear to center. Now Markle breaks in, but he's checked on the play, and the Rose speeds into the Indian zone. Shooting right on, Sands to stop, and gives for Vern Smith on left wing for Markle, and it ends up going outside the line. Then Natras shoots it right back, but the Indian Vern Smith in the neutral zone feeds it on left wing for Markle. Markle holds on, tries to center one, but the Canadians' Boisvert leads on left wing for Claude LaRose, last year's American Hockey League scoring champion, shoots, and the stop by Sands, and then he's able to make the stop, but before anything could happen, the whistle was blown down by Ron Schick, and boy, LaRose can put on the Jets as he comes down that wing.
Well, he always has, Mike, a veteran of American Hockey League seasons. He spent some time with Springfield 1981-82. He had 66 points in that season, but last year, as you mentioned, scoring champion with 120 points in the American Hockey League, can really turn on the Jets down the left wing and then blast that puck when he has to, and that shot surprised goaltender Mike Sands. Let's see it again right here. Here's LaRose at your bottom of your screen. Watch the shot really take off, and as you see, strikes Mike Sands, surprised him. Claude LaRose can fire that puck.
Here's the Pooley brothers out along with Remy Gagne. Gaston Gingras, who was just acquired from the St. Catherine Saints, is on defense for the Canadiens. He was acquired in a Larry Landon deal, which had Landon go on to St. Catharines. Here's Gingras' shot blocked for the defense and wide, and the Indians are able to clear to center for Kerr, but it's knocked down in the neutral zone, and back after it for the Canadiens is Perry Pooley. Here is Pooley dropping it back for his own defense. The Canadians try and clear, but held in by Bodak. Bodak tied up, and then Pooley leads a rush to center. Lead pass at center ice for Remy Gagne across the line for Pooley, but Pryor is right there. Now it's jammed up, big fight for it along the far boards, but Tate takes over and gives for Bodak. Up ahead for Kerr, it ends up going all the way into the Sherbrooke zone, and the Canadians have to go back. 5:32 left first period. The Indians, on a goal by Mark Hamway, have a lead of 1-0 as the Canadians clear up ahead into the neutral zone, but Pryor is right there and clears on the far side. Buck ends up going back into the Canadiens' rink, and Gaston Gingras clears to center, but Hicks for the Tribe on left wing. Tied up, and then it's cleared out the center where the Indians have to go back. Here is Skrudlin, now out with Runquist and Teal. This line's been playing very well recently for the Canadians, clearing one in. Sands backhands it on left wing for Hicks. Here is Hicks up ahead to center ice for Housen. Housen for the Indians. across the line, tries to backhand one through, but holds on. Dropping it back now for Jensen. Jensen winds it through for Hicks, but cleared away. Held in by Housen. Housen right in, shoots, and blocked. Trottier a poke at it, then it's cleared in front, but we whistled down on a high stick, I believe, right in front of the Canadiens' goal with 4:33 left first period. 1-0 Indians.
Well, player movements have been a big part of the Springfield Indians scheme of things this year. This week was nothing other than that, as the Springfield Indians did make some movements back and forth between the NHL, this American Hockey League, and also the IHL. Chris Pryor, Mike Sands returned earlier this week. Should mention that forward defenseman Jim Cowdice has been sent to Indianapolis to the International League, and Mark Hamway had a brief stint with the Islanders this week, playing in a game against the New Jersey Devils on Thursday night, and then he has returned, though, for tonight's action.
Face-off just outside the blue line to the right of Moffat as the Canadiens take over in their own zone. Here's a pass out the center ice, and here is Scrudelin backhanding to the Indians line, but Jensen is right there. Leads it on left wing for Hicks, stolen on the far side, but the Indians take over. Ahead at center ice for Housen. Shovels on right wing for Trottier. Back to Housen. Housen right in on goal. Shoots, and on his backhand is stopped by Moffat. Now Paddock at the point. Winding one through for Hicks. Hicks back behind the net for the Indians player, Monty Trottier, but Trottier is ridden off the puck by the Canadiens player Lawler, and it's clear to center. Then Hicks runs into Fletcher, and they're separated. Actually, the whistle was blown on an offside, but I'll tell you, the fans along the near side getting a little bit excited when Fletcher's out there.
Well, Fletcher laid a stiff body check on Alan Kerr early in this game, and right there, a beautiful check by Glenn Hicks at the Sherbrooke blue line, the newcomer. Hicks, as we mentioned early in the game, a third-round pick of the Detroit organization, has spent some time in the NHL with Detroit. He's also played in the American Hockey League with Adirondack, in the Central League with Birmingham and Salt Lake, where he was the captain of the Golden Eagles team in the Central Hockey League. You should take a look at Big Steve Fletcher, who's been involved in some altercations already with the Indians this year, especially against Chris Pryor in that big brawl earlier this year at the Springfield Civic Center.
Fletcher, 6'2", 180 out of Montreal, Quebec, and played last year for the Sherbrooke Jets. Now it's cleared back in, and now out back to center ice where Vern Smith controls, but tied up there, and then it's cleared into the Springfield zone by Alain Heroux. Now it's backhanded by the Indians on the near side and up to center ice, and here comes Lawton on left wing for Trimper, but hopped over his stick, and the Canadiens have to go back. 1-0 Indians, 3:25 left first period. As the Indians' Vern Smith loses sight of the puck, the Canadiens Heroux in after it, but Heroux is knocked down, and then Lawton covers up for the Tribe. Big jam up along the near boards. Canadiens in after it to forecheck. They fight for it and finally freeze it there along the near boards.
A lot of high hopes for number 17, Alain Heroux, out there for the Sherbrooke Canadiens, a left winger in 37 games this year, only 6 goals, 10 assists for 16 points, but he was a #1 draft pick of the Montreal Canadiens back in 1982. And Heroux, Mike, there's a lot of talk about him when he was drafted as a big prospect from the Montreal organization. This year has been struggling with Sherbrooke.
Last year played for Chicoutimi of the Quebec Hockey League. He's only 20 years of age, and he's from Terrebonne, Quebec, born May 20th, 1964. Face off in the circle to the right of the Indians goaltender Mike Sands. 3:09 remaining in this first period.
I like your French pronunciations tonight. You seem right on the button with it. Those lessons you took this week really helped you out.
Well, I remember you told me that your French extends to the oui aspects, and that was it. Am I correct?
That's all. And maybe a bonsoir.
That's right.
But I don't know what that means.
Well,
just sounds good.
Yep. Now it's cleared back on the far side, and Faust has it for the Canadien. Out to center ice and across the line for Eves. Eves says to center one. Loose in front. LaRose shot wide. Boisvert the rebound, and Sands slides across and robs Boisvert on this big scoring line for the Canadiens.
Well, Serge Boisvert has been the leading scorer for the Sherbrooke Canadiens all year long, and he's been up with the Montreal Canadiens, as we mentioned earlier, for the past month. Gets a chance here. Mike Sands comes up big for Springfield with 2:43 remaining in the first period. Here you see it once again on replay. LaRose with the initial shot that goes wide, and there's Boisvert with a poke at it. Mike Sands down and out, comes up with a save.
Face off in the Springfield zone to the right of Mike Sands. Face-off controlled, and the Indians get control of the puck, and Johannesson after it. Trache also over there fighting with the Canadiens player, as you see it on your screen there. Face-off coming up with 2:35 left in this first period. The Indians, John, will be in action on Sunday against Adirondack and will have a big weekend ahead against Baltimore and Rochester. And there's the old camera shot and your famous wave. There it went.
That's it. And of course, Mike, you talk about a big week, and it is a big week for the Springfield Indians coming up. Friday night, the Baltimore Skipjacks, just a few points ahead of the Springfield Indians in the Southern Division. And then Saturday night, the Rochester Americans. So two big Southern Division battles, both games at 7:30 right here at the Springfield Civic Center.
Here is the Canadian player Gagne on the far boards trying to, actual Gaston Gingras clearing it in. Now it's jammed up behind the net. We're going to have a penalty called, I believe, against the Indians here with 2:16 left in the first period. And the Canadians will have their first power play chance of the night.
Well, those Sherbrooke Canadians have fared out pretty well on the power play this year. The Indians' Chris Pryor gets the call for slashing with 2:16 remaining. We're going to see it again to see if we can pick out this penalty. As you see, the Canadians work the puck in the zone. This is Boisvert with the puck, and as you see him coming in right there, a stiff couple of stick checks there, one by Trache and one by Pryor at the blue line. Really didn't look like much, but as you see Pryor trailing the play right here, that's Tate knocking down Boisvert. Let's see if we can pick out the slash that was called by Schick. It could have been that one up by the blue line. That's all we could see on that one. Could have been the one up by the blue line, or if we let that go a little bit, we might have saw it. Nonetheless, the Indians do have to face the Sherbrooke power play.
Sherbrooke 20.6% with the man advantage, 25.5% on 4 for 17 against the Indians this year. Now it's jammed up on the far side. It's centered, but nobody there, and the Indians are able to clear one out the center ice. Here the Indians shorthanded. Lawton trying to sidestep a check. We got a fight brewing now along the near boards. Tim Trimper and John Newberry had their sticks up, and Ron Schick's going to have some penalties right there as well. And Trimper and Newberry being sent over to the penalty box area. Newberry has some words for Ron Schick.
Well, Ron Schick trying to maintain control of this game, but really this one he's calling a little bit too tight in this particular play right here between Trimper and Newberry as they collided at the red line. They got their sticks up and pushed back and forth. The play went the other way, and Schick immediately blew the whistle and whistled down both for matching penalties here with 1:49 remaining in period number 1. If you're just joining us, the Indians own a 1-0 lead on a power play goal by Mark Hamway, his 21st of the year, and there you see a score right here on Continental Cablevision.
Face-off coming up. Teams will still play 5-on-4 with the new rule this year in the American Hockey League. The teams will not have to play without those two players. Each team without that one man, it'll still be a 5-on-4 power play. Here are the Canadians into the Springfield zone. As both players, Newberry and Trimper, get roughing minor penalties. As Sands trying to clear one away, does succeed, and on left wing for Trache, and shorthanded leads a pass to center ice. Here are the Indians across the line, break for Lawton, and now goal shoots on Moffett. Robs Lawton, who was in the clear all alone, and the loose puck is taken by the Canadians. Lawton had a clear-cut breakaway, but robbed by Moffett. And the loose puck taken by Natras ahead on the far boards for Scrudlin to Teal. Dropped for Natras, shoots, and Sands stick save, and it's deflected over the glass and into the crowd. Great chance, however, on that last rush by Lawton.
Well, great burst of speed at the Sherbrooke blue line sprung Brian Lawton as he went in all alone on the goaltender Moffett. Watch the beautiful move he makes right here on the defender Terrian as he goes between the legs and moves right in right here on Moffett with the shot. He might have gone in a little bit more and tried to put a move on Moffett, elected to go with the wrist shot, and the goaltender for the Sherbrooke Canadiens comes up with the save. 50 seconds remaining on the penalty to Pryor, and of course the matching penalties canceling off, Mike, as you mentioned earlier.
Face-off in the Springfield zone, 50 seconds left in Pryor's penalty, 1:06 left first period. The Indians have a goal by Mark Hamway and lead 1-0. Here are the Canadians. Gaston Gingras winds it through on the far side. Here is Boisvert after it, but it's cleared outside the line and deep to center. The Indians have to watch out for Claude LaRose as it's cleared out the center. Now it's cleared on the far side out to the neutral zone, and Gingras has to go back. Now Hamway after the loose puck. LaRose and Hamway fight for it, and the loose puck is jammed at. LaRose takes over. He's tied for second in the American Hockey League in power play goals with 11. Clears it on left wing for Douglas. Ahead to center ice, and here comes Eves across the line. Eves feeding it through on the far side. Drops it back for Gingras. Winding it back on the near side, but LaRose unable to hold on, and he has to go back. Just 5 seconds left in Pryor's penalty. 20 seconds remaining. First period as Douglas breaking in. The whole play whistled down offside. And I was mentioning about Claude LaRose on the power play. He is second to Ray Cote of the Nova Scotia Oilers, who has 13 power play goals, and quite a production for Mr. LaRose.
Well, he knows what to do around the net, Mike, and he's teamed up with Murray Eves. They're a great 1-2 combination, and add Serge Boisvert to that twosome, and you have a potent line for the Sherbrooke Canadiens. Of course, Eves last year was number 2 in the league in scoring, right behind LaRose with 115 points. So they do have a lot of punch, but thus far the Indians have killed off that penalty and did a super job.
Now with just 13 seconds to go, Canadians clear in. Big jam up on the near boards, shot wide by Paul Pooley. Big fight for it on the far boards. 5 seconds remaining. Canadians try and center one, but Howson is right there. Tries to freeze the puck, and the buzzer sounds, signaling the end of the first period. And the Indians had some chances, as did Sherbrooke, but only 1 goal scored in the opening frame, and the Indians have a 1-0 lead.
Well, that goal scored by Mark Hamway as he was set up by Ron Handy on the power play to give the Indians the 1-0 lead. A good period for the Springfield Indians. Some rough stuff involved in that period. We'll have to see if it carries over to the next 2. But for Springfield, they skated right up with those fast-paced Sherbrooke Canadians, stuck with them the whole way. It's only 20 minutes. There's 40 to go, but the Indians on top through 1-0.
We'll be back with our between periods activities. Stay tuned for more Springfield Indians hockey. It's 1-0 Springfield. We'll be back in just a moment.
You know, the business world moves fast. I've found only one publication keeps pace with it every business day. Only this, the Wall Street Journal. Not weekly, not bi-weekly, today's business news today. So you can use it today.
Get the next 6 months of the Wall Street Journal delivered for just $56, only 44 cents a day. To order, phone 800-892-9000. That's...
Welcome back, everyone. Mike Barrick along with John Forslund here at the Springfield Civic Center, and the president of the Indians is having some words in the background.
I don't know if he's talking to us, but you can sure hear him behind the curtain. The force is with us, I guess is the way to put it, Mike.
That's a good way to put it, I think, and you can hear him sometimes, the new fans here in the background sometimes here on SCN and Continental Cablevision.
Oh, we'll get to see him between the second and third periods. We're going to have him on, so we'll really get to
You
hear
have
him
to
then.
grill him on that and find out what it is with all the noises in the background. Okay, the score here, the Indians leading 1-0. Mark Hamway scoring for the Springfield Indians on a good one for the Tribe.
It was a beautiful goal for Mark Hamway on the power play. Looked like the Indians were going to have that same type of frustration on their parts in the opponent's zone, not quite finishing off their plays. That's what's been happening, really lacking that goal-scoring punch. Ryan Lawton had himself a good period, although he did not score. He was skating well. Thought he might break out of it here tonight. The Indians had a couple of missed chances early, finally got the goal by Hamway and looked pretty good on the power play. They only have 1 goal, but they could have countless others if not for a couple of breaks.
Hope you're enjoying the action on Continental Cablevision. The score 1-0 in favor of the Springfield Indians. And now let's take a look at what's happening around the American Hockey League at this time of the season. There you see the standings in the American Hockey League's Northern Division. Maine pretty much pulling away now in first place as they had last week. But one interesting thing, on Friday, the Maine Mariners shut out the Nova Scotia Oilers for the 3rd time this year. And they have 7 shutouts this year, 4 for Sam St. Laurent, 3 for Sean McKenzie. And they keep piling up those shutouts and more than anybody else.
Well, 2 important factors for the Mariners. One is great goaltending, the other is great defense. When you put the 2 of them together, that's what you need going towards the playoffs. Defense usually wins it for you in the long run. That's what the Maine Mariners have, and now they are, like you say, Mike, stretching things out in the north.
And as far as the other positions are concerned, you can see the big tie up there for the 4th and final playoff spot. 3 points separating Nova Scotia, Sherbrooke, Fredericton, and Moncton. Taking a look at the Southern Division standings, there you see the Indians, 68 points, 4 points behind Baltimore. But of course, the big story there, Indians want to stay ahead of New Haven, 2 games at hand over the Nighthawks and also an 8-point lead.
Well, good thing for the Sherbrooke Canadiens. They might be the enemy tonight, but on Friday night, they picked up a victory over New Haven. That bulge could be 6 points, if not for that game on Friday night. But the Indians are looking over their shoulders for the time being, trying to put away New Haven and just get their minds in the top 4 spots and get a solid playoff position.
And of course, if the Indians pick up a couple of victories, they'd start shooting for going ahead of Baltimore in the American Hockey League Southern Division. Taking a look at the top scorers in the American Hockey League, Paul Gardner, 103 points. And you know, John, he's getting to the point where he may set the all-time American Hockey League scoring record of 125 points set by Ross Yates, also a Binghamton Whaler. He's on that pace. He might do it with some games remaining.
Well, in only 53 games, almost 2 points a game for Paul Gardner. As a matter of fact, it is, if you had to figure it out. But Gardner has to be talked about as far as league's MVP this year. Paul Gardner having a super year. Has been at the top for the entire season.
And of course, followed by Steve Thomas of St. Catharines, a good choice right now for Rookie of the Year in the American Hockey League. Let's take a look at the Indians' top scorers. Ron Handy on top, 54 points, and Handy a 3-game scoring streak at this point. But again, a big jumble up there for the Indian scorers.
Well, it's a balanced attack for Springfield that's been lacking scoring punch lately. They haven't really been lighting up the numbers as far as offense is concerned. Let's hope that straightens itself out. But the Indians do have some players on the club that they can rely on. They are deep in that category, 6 or 7 players that can score, so that might come out to be just all right for the Springfield Indians going down the stretch.
Well, let's take a look at the upcoming games for the Springfield Indians. 3 games on tap this week. And of course, the ones we urge you fans to come out to the Springfield Civic Center. On Friday night, the Baltimore Skipjacks, and Saturday night, the Rochester Americans. 2 key Southern Division battles, and the last 2 times these teams are in for the fans to get a chance to see them.
Well, these games right here begin a big stretch for Springfield, which they'll be playing Baltimore, Rochester, and then going to Baltimore with a road trip that week, the next week featuring Hershey and Binghamton. But getting to this weekend, Baltimore and Rochester, a great chance for the Indians fans to come on down and see some Southern Division teams with playoffs on their mind in those games. And our next broadcast here on Continental Cable will be that Rochester game.
Well, the shots on goal in the first period, 12-9 in favor of the Springfield Indians over the Sherbrooke Canadiens. And John, you have some interesting between periods guests coming up.
That's right. We're going to be talking with Lieutenant Colonel James Reed, who will be our guest here between periods, the United States Air Force. And it's Air Force night here at the Springfield Civic Center. We're going to talk with Colonel Reed and talk about just what he's involved with as far as recruiting for the United States Air Force right after this.
Barron sees things about the market that most other people don't. And when we spot them, we tell you about them. We don't hold back. We tell you the good news, and we warn you when you might get hurt.
Get the next 26 weeks of Barron's for $39. Order today, and you'll also get as a bonus Barron's exclusive booklet to help you with your market forecasting. That's 26 weeks of Barron's plus the bonus booklet for just $39. Call 800-892-9000. That's 800-892-9000.
We're back here at the Springfield Civic Center. I'm John Forsland, and it's Air Force night here with the Springfield Indians meeting the Sherbrooke Canadiens, and my guest is Lieutenant Colonel James E. Reed of the United States Air Force, the 3,512th Recruiting Squadron, and Colonel Reed is in charge of over 54 recruiting stations located in Massachusetts, Connecticut, and Rhode Island. Colonel Reed, we're very privileged to have you on with us here tonight. Let's talk about the United States Air Force and the Springfield Indians 1-2 combination and how things have gone here tonight with Air Force night and why the combination started in the first place.
Okay, John, thank you very much, and I appreciate you supporting us also. But we do this annually with the Springfield Indians, and they have us out for a night where they sponsor us and our program, and we have about 100 young men and women here with us this evening, plus my supporting staff from the headquarters. And we just come out and enjoy ourselves and say hi to everybody in the audience and just really enjoy ourselves. But we really thank the media for supporting us in this program.
Let's talk now about recruiting. Of course, the Armed Services always talking about the push to get some new signees as far as the services are concerned, but the Air Force itself, what makes the Air Force a special branch of the United States Armed Services?
John, I think some of the uniqueness that we'd like to share with the audience might be the space program, and we're talking about technology quite a bit now, and most of the folks have observed the space shuttle launch and all that. As of last year, we took over the executive management of the space shuttle program within DoD, the Department of Defense. So the young men and women that are coming aboard now with us in the Air Force can look at about 350 specialty areas, most of those in high-tech jobs. In other words, they'll be working engineering programs on things like third and fourth generation space systems and new fighter systems and weapon systems that are coming on board now. Very sophisticated aircraft, very sophisticated space program, as you know, and most of these young men and women will be involved directly with these programs.
Let's talk about those young men and women who might be interested. What does it take? What are the requirements for someone to get involved with the Air Force?
I think the primary thing is a desire to explore new areas and to have a curiosity, having done fairly well in their high school programs, be interested in some of a very wide variety of technical areas, hopefully fairly good in some math, science skills. If not, we've got a lot of administrative areas that they can work in also. But I think a very unique program, again, very technologically oriented. We're looking at some 99%, almost 100% of the young men and women now coming into the Air Force are high school graduates, John. So again, I suppose that's a very high quality that we're looking for.
Let's talk about the youngsters coming out who are interested in also getting tuition credit for college. How does that correlate with the Air Force?
That's a very good question. We're one of the only services, in fact, the only service that has a 2-year associate program, and we call it the Community College of the Air Force. Again, about 90% of the jobs in the Community College of the Air Force are technical degrees. We pay for that. There's also a tuition assistance program, a veterans education program, an airman's early commissioning program where they can become an officer if they'd like to. We pay for approximately 75% of their tuition assistance in any program that they want to go into. 90% when they put on more rank.
How about now, let's talk about yourself. You've made a career out of the United States Air Force, and I've read your biography, and it's really filled with a lot of great accomplishments for yourself. You've made a career out of it, and I guess for someone who's looking to sign on, making a career from the Air Force isn't too bad.
It's a great thing. In fact, I'd just like to share a couple of things with you. I've been in 18 years now. I've got an undergraduate degree in biology, and I've picked up 2 master's degree and an education specialist, which is almost a doctorate degree. And the Armed Forces have pretty much paid for all of those things. Now, I've traveled all over the world, and I've enjoyed it. The family is very flexible, and we've always enjoyed the travel. I've had a tour in Europe and a tour on both East and West Coast in the southern states. And I've had an opportunity to meet a lot of very exciting, interesting people. And I wouldn't have any other career, John. It's been exciting.
Well, Colonel Reed, you're a modest man. Of course, you talk about what the Air Force has given you, but you have given the Air Force something also with a lot of decorations. Fill the fans in on some of your laurels.
Well, a lot of those are from war decorations. I was in Southeast Asia twice, and I've got a Distinguished Flying Cross, Presidential Unit Citation, Outstanding Unit Decoration, Meritorious Service Medal, Air Medal with 9 oak leaf clusters, which tells folks how many missions that I've actually flown in the combat zone. And there are quite a few other marksmanship awards and longevity awards and things like that.
There's a lot of branches to the Air Force. A lot of people think it might just have to do with the flying aspect. You talk about the space program, but why don't you give more of a capsule view what exactly is involved? Maybe there's someone out there who isn't interested in that flying or that air type, but there's a lot of other ways to go about things in the Air Force.
Yes, that's a good question, John. Let me try to encapsulate it if I can for you. We have 4 general areas that people look at when they come into the Air Force and qualify in either a mechanical area, administrative, which is a general area, maybe working with clerical work or computers, the general area, and then electronics area. So those 4 areas. We're looking for men and women in all of those areas. And incidentally, John, we've added another we're going up to 17% now, total service being females now, which is a lot of the young ladies don't know that out there now, and they can fly. So just about all of the aircraft that we have now, young ladies are actually flying in those. Also the engineering program. We work nurses also and the physicians as far as the medical side of the house. And in the enlisted side of the house, 540,000 enlisted folks that we have can support the medical side, engineering side of the house. And again, the computers. We've got about 1 million computers now in the Air Force that people are getting very involved with. So engine specialists also. We've got 85,000 young men and women working on the engines, and they come back out into their community, get hired very rapidly because that's a specialty that people like to have already taken care of as far as the training.
Well, as the fans can tell, there's a broad spectrum of duties as far as the United States Air Force is concerned in which a youngster could go into, male or female.
Exactly.
How about recruiting in the Connecticut, Massachusetts, Rhode Island area? How has it been going?
It's excellent, John. I just can't thank the Springfield, the Western Massachusetts area folks enough. In fact, what I'd really like to do is thank the media for helping us a lot. We have a very small advertising budget, and the educators, state community leaders, counselors, education specialists, the world of academia, and people like yourself have helped us a lot, and that gets the visibility out there for us. We appreciate that, and that brings in turn the very high quality people into the Air Force.
Colonel Reed, before we leave, if you had one thing to tell youngsters as far as the United States Air Force as a way of life, what would it be?
John, I think just that it's a great career. I've enjoyed it. If they've got any questions about it, talk to people. We like to have them look at all the options, make sure they're aware of what they can get into in the Air Force, and come down and talk to our recruiters about it, or give me a call. I'd like to help them out.
And there's plenty of areas as far as recruiting offices within the Western Massachusetts area for the youngsters to go to.
Exactly.
Well, Colonel Reed, thank you for coming out. Are you enjoying the hockey game?
Oh, it's super, John. I've got the family out here tonight, and I just can't thank you enough for helping us out. We've got a lot of people out here supporting the Springfield Indians tonight.
Okay, best of luck to yourself. Enjoy the remaining portions of this game. It's been a pleasure having you.
Thank you, John. Appreciate it.
Colonel James Reed, the United States Air Force, has been our guest on Air Force Night here at the Springfield Civic Center. We'll be back with more Springfield Indians hockey right after this brief message.
Exerskate just for the health of it at the Springfield Olympia Ice and Roller Sports Center, your year-round sports facility. You can enjoy ice and roller skating as well as indoor soccer and floor hockey. The Springfield Olympia Ice and Roller Center has a full skate and pro shop, so you'll find what you're looking for. From amateurs to experts and anyone in between, a complete snack bar will satisfy that athletic appetite. For birthday parties, club get-togethers, or special occasions, renting a rink is the fun way to throw a party. And it's as easy as the Springfield Olympia Sports Center, conveniently located at exit 13 off I-91.
Welcome back, everyone. Mike Barrick along with John Forslund, Springfield Civic Center. The Indians leading 1-0 on a goal by Mark Hamway in the first period. Shots on goal, the Indians 12 and the Canadiens 9. And we're underway here in Springfield, just ready for second period action. And here's Rick Natras up ahead on the near side, but the Canadiens clear into the Springfield end of the rink where Pryor goes back after it. Winds it on right wing for Manny Trache. Up ahead for Glenn Hicks, who races after it. Into the Canadian zone, Hicks burst to speed, shoots, and right on Moffat the save. And he didn't know where it was, but it ended up going underneath him, and he ends up pouncing on top of it. Now the players Trimper and Newberry are back on, and the team's still at even strength at this point.
Well, just underway here in the second period, 19:35 remaining. The Indians Parents Clubs this week. Let's take a look at what they're going to be doing. The New York Islanders will be in action Tuesday, March 12th at St. Louis, Wednesday, March 13th at Chicago, and the Minnesota North Stars only one game this week, and that'll be on Wednesday night also when they visit Quebec City in the Le Colisée in Quebec.
So you got your French in there tonight, didn't you?
Yeah, that was great.
Not bad, not bad. Here is play on the near boards, and it's cleared to center, but Trache for the Indians. On left wing for Hicks, who battles with Teal, but now Teal takes control into the Springfield zone. Backhander, stands the stop on the neat backhander by Teal. Now it's jammed up on the near boards. The loose puck taken by Scrudelin. Scrudelin slides in front, but he's upended, and we're going to have a penalty called against the Indians. And now Johannesson has some words with Scrudelin on the near side, but no matter what, the Indians are going to find themselves a man short.
Well, holding's the call. The Indians will be shorthanded. Newcomer Glenn Hicks gets the penalty with 19:11 remaining in the second period. Let's see it again right here on Continental Cablevision, where we have all the angles for you every week, every Monday night. You can see Springfield Indians hockey, and there you see Scrudlin with the puck coming off the near boards, wheeling out towards the Springfield goal, hauled down from behind by Hicks. Thus the call, and the Indians a man short. Mike, speaking of the Indians parent clubs, a couple of players for the Springfield Indians, former Springfield Indians, picking up their first NHL goals tonight.
That's right. On Saturday night, Roger Kortko and Dale Henry picking up their first National Hockey League goals up with the parent New York Islanders. Here's Trimper for the Indians. Here trying to break into the Canadiens under the rink, but Sherbrooke go back. Hicks for holding, 49 seconds. The Canadiens down 1-0. Have a power play chance and up ahead on left wing. Here is Jordy Douglas, the captain of Sherbrooke. Clears to the Indians line, but knocked right back out the center. And Gingras clears ahead on left wing for Eves, but the whole play whistled down offside. It's nice to see Gaston Gingras still in the American Hockey League. He was a late pickup by Sherbrooke in the Larry Landon deal for a player to be named later, and he was originally part of the Montreal Canadiens organization.
That's right, Mike, and then was sent over to the Toronto organization where he was playing with St. Catharines. Landon was loaned to St. Catharines early in the year, and then the deal finally went through. Landon now part of that organization, and Gingras comes over to Sherbrooke.
He's a big factor on this Canadiens point, but it's cleared now and held in by the Canadian. Gingras shoots, and that goes wide. Rebound cleared in front. Back after it is Gingras, spinning to make a play, but on his backhand, hands right to Jensen, who leads for Trimper shorthanded, who clears ahead for Lawton, who's already had one chance shorthanded. Now Trimper wheels to make a play. Trimper sidesteps a check. Trimper into the corner. Gets by Gingras, then clears it all the way back. No matter what, it's going to relieve some pressure, although it's back in the Indian zone. And then Jensen takes over for the Indians and slaps it all the way back to relieve pressure.
Well, they play catch with the puck back and forth, but what it does, Mike, is take away some precious time where the Canadiens could jump out here with their first goal on the power play.
Here are the Canadiens spinning into the Springfield zone. Rundqvist dropping it back for Teal. Teal to the left point. Held in by the Canadiens as LaRose feeds it through, but the Indians are able to clear on left wing. Vern Smith skates after it with Hamway on his right. Smith centers in front. Hamway shoots, and the stop by Moffat was deflected by Hamway. Now Hamway again, loose puck, and it skitters right there, but the goaltender Moffat able to scoop it up and make the stop. Great shorthanded tries by the Tribe.
Well, the Indians with 15 seconds still remaining on the penalty to Hicks get some scoring chances on Moffat. Mark Hamway, who has already scored a goal once tonight, almost gets a second one right here. As you see the puck, Monty Trottier with it. Hamway calls for it in the slot, receives it, and then Moffat was right there as he was checked from behind by Rick Natras and really didn't get much on it like he wished he would have on that play. Mark Hamway buzzing all over. Before that, a 2-on-1 with Vern Smith accompanying him. Mark Hamway's been really on here tonight.
Here's Johannesson, shoots right on Moffat to save. Tate the rebound, and that's blocked the defense. Jammed up behind the net. Markle is steered off by Scrudlin. They fight for it over there, and the Canadiens, Rundqvist is able to take control, and in his own zone leads a rush for the Canadiens. Here's Rundqvist speeding into the Springfield zone. The Swedish youngster right in on goal. Johannesson ties him up, then it's cleared wide. The Indians player is back on Hicks, and the Indians have killed off the power play opportunity for the Canadiens. Now it's center, but right onto the stick of Markle, who leads to center. Markle with Hicks. The pass to Hicks, back for Markle, but it's cleared in offside at the Canadian blue line.
We have 16:48 remaining in the second period. If you're just joining us, the score, the Springfield Indians 1 and the Sherbrooke Canadiens 0. Upcoming promotions for the Indians, in addition to the games coming up this weekend on March 15th and 16th versus Baltimore and Rochester respectively, on March 29th when the Indians meet the Noble Cheeseburger, and also on March 30th another game with the Oilers. It'll be Enfield Honda night. The first 1,000 kids 16 and under receive a Indians painter's cap courtesy of Enfield Honda.
Now it's cleared all the way into the Springfield under the rink, and Sands is able to dump one on the near side for Ken Leiter. Here is the player Pooley trying to center one, but jammed up by Vern Smith. He's unable to get it out. Canadians hold it in on the far side. Here's a quick centering pass, but blocked onto the defense, and the Indians unable to get it out. Held in by the Canadians defenseman there. Lalor's shot, and that goes wide. Canadians have another chance, but here is Handy up the center ice for the Indians. Handy across the line. Handy for Bodak. Bodak back in front for Housen, and Moffat save. Rebound, score! Bodak on the rebound, and a quick backhander, and the Indians with 16:04 left second period strike to make it 2-0.
in the right place at the right time is that man right there, Bob Bodak. And it's been a long time coming, but he finally picks up a goal here as you see the Indians bringing the puck in the zone. That's Ron Handy with it. He dishes off for Bodak, has trouble in his skates. Then he's knocked off by the Sherbrooke defender, Scotty Housen, with a poke at it. The save by Moffat. And there you see Bodak with the backhander had enough to get it up over the glove hand of Moffat to give the Indians the 2-0 lead.
Well, Bodak, who's been slumping, had only one goal since January 26th coming into the action, but scores a big one for the Indians to give them a 2-0 lead. Here are the Indians. Kerr trying to center one, but jammed up by the Canadiens, and up they come on left wing. Pass into the Springfield zone by Jordy Douglas, but it's knocked down offside at the Indians' line. The scoring play, Bodak is 17th from Housen and Handy. That's Housen and Handy's second assist this evening, and it's the time of the goal, 3:56 to make it 2-0.
Well, Mike's got to be relieved for Bob Bodak. Has been struggling as far as scoring goals, picks up his 17th of the year, led the team in scoring much of the early part of the season and has been struggling, but here tonight could be the start of some good things for Bob Bodak, at least getting one goal here tonight against Sherbrooke.
Now it's played jammed up in the Springfield zone, and Jensen clears to center. Here's Gingras for the Canadiens. Leading it through for Newberry, back to Gingras, across the center, then slapping one in, but Sands to stop and gloves it, and he's able to set it up on left wing for Trimper. Canadiens try and center one, loose in front. Aru centers for Douglas, but blocked off in front of the net. Now Gingras whack at it, holds on, is for Newberry. Newberry, who saw some time with Montreal, gives to Gingras, shoots, and a pad save Sands. Newberry the rebound, and Sands stops that as well! And then some more pokes at it, but Sands robs Newberry twice from in front of the net.
Oh my, what goaltending by Mike Sands comes up with two great stops on Newberry. As he moved in, John Newberry, who's been a hot player for the Sherbrooke Canadiens. Here's the original shot taken by Gingras. He can really fire the puck. Newberry with number 1 and then number 2. And Mike Sands does the splits and comes up with the save. With 15:11 remaining in the second period, there's the Indians goaltender out of Sudbury, Ontario. The Indians on top, 2-0 at this point, and Mike Sands playing great in the goal.
Sands, a very good mark on home ice, 13 wins, 5 losses, and 2 ties, and playing extremely well here this evening. He robbed John Newberry, who played for the University of Wisconsin college hockey and played last year, his first year, with the Nova Scotia Voyageurs. He's a product of Montreal and has seen action with the Canadiens this year. Face off in the circle to the left of Mike Sands, the big scoring line of Eves, LaRose, and Boisvert out, with Natras as the right point man, and also Therrien. Now Natras shooting, stick save Sands, held in now by Therrien. He winds up, shoots, and it's deflected wide. Now the Canadiens, Boisvert tries to poke it in front, but it ends up being tied up on the mesh there, and with 15:01 left second period, 2-0 Indians will have a face-off.
Well, by no means are the Indians with a comfortable 2-0 lead. The Sherbrooke Canadiens have plenty of firepower and can pepper the goal. And when they have this line out there of Eves, LaRose, and Boisvert, let's see some of the action right here. They can really stir things up in your own end. And as you see right now, Mike Sands being faced with an onslaught of shots from the Sherbrooke Canadian sticks.
Face off as they patch a little bit of ice there in front of the net. And John, your second period hint might be time for your trivia.
All right, second period clue or hint, whatever way we want to talk.
You know I need that.
Well, the question for tonight's trivia is there are 2 coaches currently coaching in the National Hockey League. As you take a look at Lauren Henning, and someday you might see that man coaching behind the bench in the NHL. But anyway, 2 coaches currently in the National Hockey League that were formerly coaches of the Springfield Indians. Can you name them? And the second period clue will be that one of them was a player coach.
Doesn't help me, but you know
that's the clue. It's a tough clue.
It might help some of the fans watching this evening. Here it's cleared up on right wing, and here is Hamway in across the line for Tate. Back to Hamway. His shot was partially blocked, and it ends up going wide. Here are the Canadiens. Eves unable to get it out. Tate holds it in. Winds back for Marco behind the net, but Therrien covers up for Sherbrooke and is able to lead it back for his own defense for Natras. Lead. Risk pass up the center ice. Eves across the line. Eves to make a play. Centers in front, but shot by LaRose off the side of the net, and the Indians unable to get it out. LaRose holds it in. Centers in front. Canadiens Boisvert trying to get one through. Now Eves is taken out of the play by Pryor, who winds it on right wing for Hamway, and he leads a 3-man rush to center. Tate on right wing for Hamway. Shooting! And deflected up high, way up high into the stands on the near side.
Boy, that one went way up into the second tier blue seats here at the Springfield Civic Center. With 14:08 remaining here in the second period, the Indians on goals by Hamway and Bodak have a 2-0 lead. The Sherbrooke Canadiens have yet to beat Mike Sands, who's played great. This Sherbrooke club, Mike, are getting more and more scoring chances here in the second period than they did in the first. For the Indians, let's hope it's not a bad sign.
Yeah, they trailed New Haven on Friday by a score of 3-0 and came back to win that game 6-3. So the Canadiens are a team that can come back when they're down or early. Face off in the Sherbrooke zone. Face-off control by the Indians, and it ends up going into the Indians' end of the rink where Leiter takes over. Scoops it ahead to center ice for Housen, who backhands into the Canadian zone. Moffat leaves it back for zone defense. The Swedish player, Rundqvist, couldn't get it out. Leiter holds it in. He shoots it back behind the net, but Lalore takes over. Winds it free on the left side, and then the Canadians are able to dump one on left wing. Here are the Canadians. Lawler into the Springfield zone. Stops to make a play. Wound up, shooting one off the side of the net. Then Scrudelin in after it. He's taken out of the play. Hicks taken out by Scrudelin, or rather Rundqvist, and the Indians are able to clear one all the way down. They ruled no icing, as Sherbrooke could have played the puck, and Lawler has to go back. 13:24 left second period. We're 2-0 in favor of the Indians as Hicks shoots one and deflected in front, but cleared away, and the Canadians on left wing. Here's Rundqvist to center. And across the Springfield line, Rundqvist stops to make a play and then spun off there trying to center one, but Hicks has it for Springfield and recovers back behind the net and winds it on right wing for Trache. Here's Trache with Housen breaking the pass to Housen. In on goal, but cleared away at the Sherbrooke defense. Housen had a good chance to get through, and then the Canadians wheel and spin Gingras out of his own zone. Lead pass to center, but the Indians' Vern Smith up the center ice for Handy on right wing for the Indians player on the far side, Lawton. He shoots one right on, and a stick save by the goaltender Moffat, and then it's cleared into the neutral zone. Now it's jammed up on the far side, and the Indians come up the center ice. Here is Kerr and across the line. Kerr, it's spun off there and knocked on the far side, and the Canadians take over, and Gingras up ahead, but knocked down by Springfield. Here's a chance for Bodak in front, but it's blocked off of the defense. Then here is Handy, tries to center for Kerr, back to the point. Paddock a shot, and that's deflected wide. Here's Bodak for the Indians, spinning to make a play. Winding one, but blocked off of the defense, and then it's cleared out the center, where Handy takes over and drops it back for zone defense. And then the Indians' Paddock shoots it right back in. Now, as the Indians in the Canadian zone try and center one, big jam up still on the near side. We have some pushing and shoving as Handy trying to clear it in front. But finally, the loose puck taken by Sherbrooke and cleared out the center.
Well, Fletcher with a big check there on Alan Kerr. Then he came right back and gave a stiff check to Gingras. So Sherbrooke picking up the play physically, and Fletcher once again throwing his weight around.
Now it's cleared all the way into the Springfield zone, offside. 11:14 left second period. Amway and Bodak have given the Indians a 2-0 lead.
Well, the Springfield Indians getting some great scoring chances. One on a beautiful slap shot by Glenn Hicks, the newcomer, as Moffat had to stick it aside. But Hicks, Mike, the good thing about him is that he's versatile enough to play either forward or defense. When he originally came to the Springfield Indians, you're going to see the big check by Fletcher on Kerr in the corner right here. Fletcher's had a couple of checks here so far tonight, and he really levels the Indians rookie Alan Kerr in the corner. But getting back to Hicks, when he originally came to Springfield, signed as a defenseman, Lauren Henning felt he would help out the defense, but now with the Indians defense playing well, being bolstered with Chris Pryor coming back, Hicks can move up front and has looked great on left wing.
Now play back in the Canadian zone, and up the center ice come the Canadians player Natras shooting, and it's blocked off the defense, off the backboards then, and Sands scoops it up and makes the stop with 11:03 left second period.
Well, big crowd here at the Springfield Civic Center on this lone Saturday night game. The only action seen this weekend here at the Springfield Civic Center. The Indians are averaging 3,825, and that average keeps going up with each game because as the playoffs are getting closer and closer, the crowds are getting bigger and bigger, and we love to see them. And this weekend, you really should come out because two great games. Friday night against the Baltimore Skipjacks, currently in third place, just a couple of points ahead of the Springfield Indians, and also Saturday night, the Rochester Americans.
Now play back as the Indians' Johannesson clears up ahead, and Lawton unable to take control. Big jam up in the neutral zone, and here are the Indians' Pryor after it. Pryor winds it into the Canadiens' end of the rink. It bounces back behind the goal, and Natras unable to get it out. Tripper holds it in, feeds it through for Hamway. Hamway spins to make a play. Shooting one through in front. Lawton a chance, but blocked off the defense. Now Lawton gets it back to the point. Johannesson shooting, and it ends up going wide. Pryor holds it in. Back behind the net for Lawton. Centers one in front. Hamway a backhander wide. Here's Lawton in front. Hamway shoots. Stop, rebound, and he's robbed again by Moffat. Now Hamway tries to center one, but the Canadiens able to clear, but held in by Johannesson. Back behind the net for Lawton. Centers one, but the Canadiens are able to intercept and clear it on left wing. Here's a break for Sherbrooke. Centering pass in front, but a penalty coming up against the Indians. Johannesson for knocking down Alain Haru, who was cutting in on the left side.
Well, Sherbrooke had a break right here. They broke the puck out. Natras finally intercepted the puck after the Indians had peppered Moffat. The line of Lawton, Trimper, and Hamway doing an excellent job. Finally, Natras got the puck out, worked it up, and we're going to see it again right here as Newbury has it top of your screen. Watch Alain Haru, that #1 pick back in 1982 by the Montreal Canadiens, heads for the net with a quick burst of speed, hauled down from behind by the Indians defenseman Glenn Johannesson. And that's where we are right now with 9:59 remaining in the second period. Moose Johannesson in the box for Springfield.
That's an interference call here at 10:01 into the second period. So the Canadiens down 2-0, have a big chance here to cut the lead and make it a 2-1 game. And of course, who you expect out there, you have the Eves and Boisvert, LaRose at the point along with Gingras on this power play, and immediately it's cleared outside the line. Paul Pooley is the winger up front on this line. Now Boisvert on the left side holds on to that puck for the Canadiens. Here's Boisvert back behind the net as the Canadiens work on this power play. Here at the point, LaRose shoots, and his stick safe stands. Rebound in front, but Pooley couldn't get his stick on it, and the Indians, Tate is able to clear all the way down, and LaRose has to go back. Here is LaRose, who's playing the point on this power play, surveys the traffic and the situation, and clears it on left wing. Here are the Canadiens. Eves to Boisvert. Hops over his stick and cleared away by Springfield. And Ken Leiter, who's paired with Dave Jensen on defense. Leiter clears to the Canadian line. Now on left wing. Here are the Canadiens across the line. Here is LaRose, centers in front for Pooley, but it hops over his stick. Paul Pooley winds it back behind the goal. Canadiens, Eves tries to center one, but he's taken out of the play. Here are the Canadiens. Pooley tries to center one, but Markle intercepts and clears all the way down. And some good penalty killing by the Tribe.
And some great work by the defensive pairing of Leiter and Jensen. Dave Jensen goes unnoticed oftentimes for Springfield. Made a beautiful play blocking that centering pass just moments earlier.
Now big jam up in the loose play on the near side, and Vern Smith cleared at center. Just 37 seconds left in Johannesson's interference penalty as the Indians Trimper back, slapping at it, and clears the zone, and the Canadiens have to go back. 26 seconds left in the penalty as Gingras back behind his own net. Here is Gingras, lead pass on left wing for Rundqvist, back for Gingras to Rundqvist on the far side. Lead near side pass for Teal, winds it on left wing, and now Teal into the Springfield zone. Teal tries to center one, but that's blocked off. Actually on the far side it was Rundqvist. Now Rundqvist trying to get it for Teal. Teal back for Rundqvist behind the net, jammed up on the near boards. Canadiens take control. Here's Skrudlin, tries to center one, but cleared out the center and in the neutral zone. Indians have killed it off. Johannesson is back on. Now across the line for Rue, but it's offside at the Springfield line.
Well, the Indians do a great job killing off that Sherbrooke power play. Earlier this year when the Indians and Canadiens got together, it was that power play by the Sherbrooke Canadiens that did the Indians in a couple of times up in Sherbrooke. One game 2-1 in favor of Sherbrooke, 2 power play goals scored, and another game 6-1 won by Sherbrooke back on January the 6th. It was 3 power play goals that really did the Indians in that game. So killing off the Sherbrooke power play, an important job for the Indians, and so far here tonight they've been flawless.
We're midway here in this second period, 2-0 in favor of the Tribe as the Canadiens into the Springfield zone. Newberry winding it back behind the net for Haru to Jordy Douglas. Douglas is taken out of the play by Gord Pataku, knocks him down. Now Harub tries to center one, but Handy is right there and leads Bodak on right wing, but it ends up going back into the Canadian zone where Natras takes over. 7:22 left second period. 2-0 Indians as Housen into forecheck, but the Canadians' Lawler intercepts and feeds it on the near side. Bodak for the try. Jams up after it, but Haru into the Springfield, or rather Newberry into the Springfield zone, tries to center one, but knocked down. Here's Haru back behind the net. He and Paddock collide, and the Indians take over. And on the far side, here come the Indians. Up to center ice is the Indians' Handy. On right wing for Housen. Back for Handy behind the net. Handy tries to slide one for Bodak. Back to the left side for Jensen. His shot right on. Stick save by Moffat. Then he gloves it and holds on.
A lot of times forwards back checking goes unnoticed, and just before this flurry down in the Springfield zone, Ron Handy did an excellent job back checking for Springfield. Forwards coming back can be very important as far as defensive play in your own zone. You don't think a forward's job has to be defense, but most of the time when a play is in the opponent's zone, the forwards do have to come back, and then the Indians get a couple of chances on Moffat on the wrist shot by Jensen. You're looking at the coach of the Sherbrooke Canadiens, Pierre Crémer, assisted by Jean Amel, and Amel has been a big addition to that coaching staff up in Sherbrooke.
As we mentioned on the other games we've had against Sherbrooke, their defense has really tightened up, and it's been a big factor. Guys like Lawler and Natras and Terrian and Faust have done an excellent job defensively for the Canadiens. Here it's jammed up, and the loose puck taken by Springfield. Hicks a shot. Now Tate also a whack at it, but blocked off the defense and cleared to center. We're down here with 6:35 left second period. 2-0 Indians have the lead, and we have play in the neutral zone as Paul Pooley clears it in, and Sands is able to leave it for zone defense on right wing for Kerr, and he ends up tipping it outside the line. The Canadians have to go back. Now the Indians, Kerr intercepts the pass into the Canadian zone. Backhands it in front. Tate shoots. Stopped by Moffat. Rebound taken by the Canadiens, and on left wing Perry Pooley leads it ahead into the neutral zone. On left wing for Paul Pooley to Perry Pooley, shoots, and the stop by Sands, and Hicks is there. Winds it by the Canadiens defense, and on left wing, moving in. Neat backhand pass for Lawton. He tries to center one for Vern Smith. Smith kicks at it on the far side, tries to center one. Lawton trying to take a poke at it, but the Canadiens are able to clear one on the near side. Vern Smith then gives a stiff check to a Canadiens player, Gagne, and then Gagne has it at center. Here is Gagne, Remy Gagne in the neutral zone, trying to feed one through, but Johannesson is right there and leads Trimper into the Canadian zone. Trimper trying to feed one through, but blocked off the defense. Now Trimper giving it through back behind the net as the Indians take over. Lawton dropping it back to the point. Pryor shooting, and a glove save by Moffat, and the youngster Moffat is able to make the glove save.
Well, the shot by Chris Pryor. Chris Pryor, one of the hardest workers on the Springfield Indians club. Spent some time with the Minnesota North Stars this past week. Holds the puck in with some nice nifty footwork just inside the Sherbrooke blue line. And then let's go with a big shot right there. A high shot that Moffat gloved with a glove hand. 5:15 remaining here in the second period. There's some of the crowd, a good crowd here on a Saturday night at the Springfield Civic Center, and watching the Indians here on top 2-0.
Guy's got his headsets on, probably listening to the Big East basketball game tonight that's going on, which we've had some fans coming up asking us about this evening up here in the broadcast booth. But of course, people out in full force this evening to see the hockey game.
That's right, and of course with those headsets they can keep abreast of what's going on elsewhere as you take a look at some more of that crowd. And you know, Mike, whatever it may be, it's always an enjoyable time here at the Springfield Civic Center, and tonight the fans, like you mentioned, are out in full force.
Now play on the near side, and Johannesson, long slap shot, and it's handled by Moffat. Now it goes back behind the net, and Natras has it for the Canadiens. Leads it through all the way into the Springfield end of the rink. Johannesson back after it, and icing is called. And the face-off will come all the way back into the Sherbrooke zone.
Well, the Indians enjoying a good record at home this year. 20 victories, 10 defeats, and 3 ties. On the road, 12-19-1, and they've been hampered by a couple of recent road losses. But at home, Mike, a pretty good record for the Springfield Indians. Doing a good job winning at home, trying to get even now as we go down the stretch drive as far as getting 500 on the road. That's the winning combination as far as a winning hockey club is concerned.
That's right, the Indians 4-1-1 in their last 6 games on home ice recently. And on home ice this year against Northern Division opponents, and the Canadiens, of course, a Northern Division team, the Indians have a sparkling record of 13-2-1. Face off in the circle to the left of Moffat. Indians leading 2-0, but would love to increase that lead before the end of the period. Now they rule it was dropped unfairly. We'll do it over again. Fans always love to get on those linesmen, don't they?
Oh, they especially do. And this face-off might look like a minute part of the game, but it was a lot of jockeying for position.
Now a play in front, but cleared away by the Canadiens, and on left wing, Claude LaRose takes over. The ex-Indian drops it back for Natras on his own defense. Here is Natras, comes to center, but Johannesson is able to keep position, knock it down, and clear it back for his own defense for Pryor. Back for Johannesson. Here is Johannesson, clearing one into the Canadian end of the rink on a bouncing puck, cleared away by Moffat, but the Indians pinch in. Hamway trying to center one, but on left wing, the Canadiens come out the center. Here's a pass into the Springfield zone. Boisvert centered for Eves. Eves is spun around in front. Then Sands himself is able to tip it, but the Canadiens hold it in. Natras winding back, but the Indians are able to take control, and Trimper on right wing for Pryor. Pryor left side for Trimper. Trimper across the line. Moving in. Holds on to that puck and waits to make a play. Centered for Hamway. Hamway in front, but the goaltender Moffat's able to pounce on it and make a stop there with 3:50 left, second period. 2-0 Indians.
Well, this threesome early in the year was together. I'm talking, of course, of Brian Lawton, Tim Trimper, and Mark Hamway. And earlier on this year, in the early portions of early February, late January, this line was doing a great job. And here tonight, they've been reunited by Lauren Henning, and they've been clicking so far. You see the Indians captain Tim Trimper with the puck right here from ice level as he wheels in the Sherbrooke zone, being chased by the Sherbrooke defender, Michel Therian. And finally, they worked the puck around for a shot on Moffat that was covered up.
Now Bodak taken out of the play, tries to center one. Handy to Trottier on the far side, dropping it back, but the Canadiens intercept on left wing. Here's a pass from the player Teal in across the line, but Rundqvist couldn't take over, and then Trottier has it behind his own net. Here is Trottier for the Indians. Out of his own zone, ahead for Bodak on left wing, but Gingras knocks it down and leaves it for his own defense. But a loose play at this point in the neutral zone as the Canadiens into the Springfield end of the rink. Skrudland feeds it through. Rundqvist shoots, and Sands a pad save. And Handy can't get it out of there, but Trottier holds on. Up the middle for Jensen. Jensen on left wing for Handy. To Bodak, shooting and way wide of the net, but Paddock holds it in. Paddock shot right on. Moffat the save, and he makes that stop. And Moffat's played pretty well in the nets tonight for the Canadiens, but Sands on that last shift made a key save.
Oh, big stop on Thomas Rundqvist, who moved down the off wing and got a shot that was labeled for the far side on Mike Sands. He kicked it out. You're looking at the Sherbrooke goaltender right there, Greg Moffat, who, as you mentioned, Mike, has played quite well in this game with 2:42 remaining. We're going to see that stop by Sands right here. Here's Rundqvist moving down the wing, 12th round pick of the Montreal Canadiens back in 1983, spent last year in Sweden, where he had 50 points in just 36 games, and that time moved down the off wing, took a nice shot on Sands, but he was equal to the task.
Here's Newberry shooting one, and deflected by Sands up high in the air over the glass into the crowd. And Sands did not look back behind him. He just let it go up, and wherever it was going to go, he wanted to make sure and stay positioned right there in the net, because you never know where that puck's going to go.
That's right. When it comes up in the air, sometimes weird bounces to that puck, you never know what's going to happen. Newberry, who's impressed here tonight, the Winnipeg Jet organization, let a shot go. Big slap shot that Sands, quick as a cat with that blocker flag, deflected, and the puck went up over the glass and landed right there in that alleyway, right there where you see that man with his young daughter or whoever it may be on his shoulders with a bird's eye view.
Whoever it may be. Now it's cleared in the stop by Sands.
Well,
and he holds on.
We don't know if it's his daughter. I don't exactly know that man, unless you do.
No, I didn't know him. I was just giving him some trouble up here in the booth.
All right, so it could be his daughter, it could be his niece, it could be just a neighbor, a friend, whoever. They're enjoying themselves, and I hope you're enjoying yourself.
Oh, we're trying up here with 2-0, the Indians leading, 2:22 left, second period. Fans think we get on each other and that we really mean it.
Too bad we do.
Here's play underway, and the loose puck taken behind the net. Leiter on right wing for Kerr, who's able to deflect one out the center. Now the Indians are able to dump one back into the Sherbrooke end of the rink, and the Canadiens Faust on the near boards, unable to get it out. Leiter holds it in, feeds it through for Kerr, slides one right through the goal crease. Now Vern Smith winds it back behind the net, and the Canadiens take control. The Indians trying to do some forechecking, but LaRose is able to clear it all the way down. They rule the Indians could have played the puck, so there's no icing. Here's Alan Kerr on the right wing side. Kerr up ahead for Terry Tate. Tate for the Indians on right wing for Kerr. Kerr trying to center one. Gets it back for Tate. Tate for the Indians. Centers one. Are back behind the net now as the Indians passing that puck around. Big jam up on the far boards as they tie each other up over there. Markle and a Canadian player. And now bodies are flying on the far side. Kerr is in there, as you see, along with Douglas. And Johannesson comes in there as well. LaRose is in the middle of it, as is Lawler and Terry Tate and Newberry.
Well, you got them all in there somehow, but Ted Faust and John Markle were the original combatants as they battled along the boards, pushed and shoved. And as you mentioned, a whole host of Sherbrooke and Springfield players came in, led by Alan Kerr, looking to mix things up with only 1:30 remaining here in the second period, and the Indians on top 2-0. And Mike, you mentioned that sometimes the fans think that we take us seriously sometimes when we get on each other, but you're absolutely right. We don't mean it. For new viewers here on Continental Cable, we do not hate each other, and it's just strictly tongue-in-cheek with it, the best, good-natured.
That's what you say.
Humor sometimes.
That's what you say.
Okay, you pick your own battle. And
here's play underway, and the Canadiens take over with 1:25 left second period. The Indians leading as it's cleared all the way down into the Indians end of the rink. It ends up going on goal, and Sands leaves it for Johannesson. Just over a minute to go in this second period. The Indians have scored tallies in both the first and second periods and lead 2-0. And Howson with the puck high in the air, unable to get the puck as it ends up being batted right back into the Springfield end of the rink. Here are the Indians with less than a minute to go, trying to get it out of there. Canadians pressing to get a goal here in the final moments of the second period. The Indians, Hicks has it on left wing. Hicks trying to get by Natras, who's able to deflect one to the Springfield line, and the Indians clear it into the Sherbrooke end of the rink. 40 seconds remaining second period as the Canadians take over back behind their own net. Gaston Gingras. Here is Gingras for the Canadians. Up ahead on right wing for Natras, and across the line for Pooley. Shoots, and he missed the net. Paul Pooley. Natras now holds it in. His drive. Pad save by Sands, and the rebound taken by Hicks, who's able to wind one on right wing with 20 seconds remaining. And Trache's able to deflect one into the Canadiens end of the rink with 14 seconds remaining second period. Now LaRose tied up. Here's Hamway for the Indians, clearing to the Sherbrooke line. 6 seconds to go. Jam up in the neutral zone. Here is Boisvert with 2 seconds left, shooting, and he missed the net. And the buzzer sounds, signaling the end of the second period, and a very solid one for the Tribe.
Well, the Indians extend their lead to 2 goals over the Sherbrooke Canadiens as Bob Bodak picks up his 17th goal of the year in period number 2. That's where we stand right now. Springfield 2, Sherbrooke nothing. A good period once again for Springfield, but those Canadians can strike at a bat of an eyelash, and there's 20 minutes to go. As you see the Canadians filing off, they have yet to score, but as you mentioned, Mike, came from behind Friday night against New Haven as they scored 4 goals in the third period. For the Indians, they're going to have to tighten up, try to get a couple of more insurance goals, because you can never have too many, especially against this Canadian club.
You know, the business world moves fast. I've found only one publication keeps pace with it every business day. Only this, the Wall Street Journal. Not weekly, not bi-weekly, today's business news today. So you can use it today.
Get the next 6 months of the Wall Street Journal delivered for just $56, only 44 cents a day. To order, phone 800-892-9000. That's 6 months over 125 issues for just $56. Phone 800-892-9000 today.
Welcome back, everyone. Mike Barrick with John Forslund. After 2 periods of play, Springfield Indians have a lead of 2-0 over the Canadiens.
That's right. Thanks to the goal by Bob Bodak, the Indians have that 2-goal lead, Mike. But, you know, the Sherbrooke Canadiens with some great chances, if not for some great goaltending by Mike Sands, they would have a couple of goals also in this game. So with 20 minutes to go, looks like an exciting finish.
Well, John, with all the activities going on with the Springfield Indians, the fans have a chance to get season tickets for the Springfield Indians a little bit early. We have a special early bird package for the Springfield Indians. You have the brochure right in your hands.
Well, here's the brochure right here, and you can send in for this brochure if you would like, or pick one up at the Indians office. And if, as you see right here, the Springfield Indians are offering rates now, 1985-86 season tickets, Mike, and an early bird package before June 1st. Next year, ticket prices, unfortunately, going up 50 cents on lower and upper arena seats. The Indians still offer some of the lowest ticket prices in the league. You can check it out, and you'll see the Indians still maintain those low prices. But you can get next year's ticket at this year's price by offering this offer right here before June 1st, the early bird package. And call the Indians office for more information. But season tickets get the early jump on next year, and this year isn't even over yet.
That's right. The fans coming out for the exciting action near the end of the season. And, of course, playoff tickets will be the next activity. And fans have been calling the office about that. But I'm sure in the next couple of weeks or so, the announcement will be made as far as playoff tickets are concerned. But you don't want to get anybody too excited yet without the playoffs being a definite possibility.
Oh, that's right. No, when they're offered, we'll have the information for you, so stay tuned. But let's see those highlights now as far as the goal by Bodak.
Okay, well, the first period, the Indians had a 1-0 lead. We'll take a look at the second period goal to give the Indians a 2-0 lead right here.
Well, here it is, the play set up by Ron Handy. As you see, Handy breaking into the Sherbrooke zone. Bob Bodak, 27, is the eventual scorer of the goal. As you see, Bodak had a problem catching with this rolling puck right here in between the skates. Finally got a stick at it. Scott Housen will come through here and get the original shot on Moffat, who's down and out. The loose puck picked up by Bodak. It's been a long time coming for Mr. Bodak, but he finally registers his 17th goal of the year to give the Indians what we have right now, a 2-0 lead.
John, here this evening, the Indians down in the season series against the Canadiens. It would be a big win tonight for the Tribe, and possibly to move them 10 points ahead of New Haven.
That's exactly right. That's what the Indians are looking for here tonight, trying to pick up those cherished 2 points over the New Haven Nighthawks with a victory here over Sherbrooke.
Hope you're enjoying the action. Peter Cooney, president of the Springfield Indians, will be John's guest. It's 2-0 in favor of the Indians. We'll be back in just a moment.
What Barron's is the investor's guide to finance, the markets, and the economy.
You are listening to Alan Abelson, editor of Barron's, the national business and financial weekly from Dow Jones.
We provide our readers with insight into the markets, tell them what things mean. We're out to inform and enlighten, and if we entertain you in the process, why, that's just fine. Barron's sees things about the market that most other people don't. And when we spot them, we tell you about them. We don't hold back. We tell you the good news, and we warn you when you might get hurt.
Get the next 26 weeks of Barron's for $39. Order today, and you'll also get as a bonus Barron's exclusive booklet to help you with your market forecasting. That's 26 weeks of Barron's plus the bonus booklet for just $39. Call 800-892-9000. That's 800-892-9000.
We want our readers to be smart about their money. It's as simple as that.